Alright, hello everyone, let's talk about something a little bit more upbeat, and I'm super hyped for this. As you know, it was EA Explore the other day, and they have delivered with some pretty meaty, juicy titles, and one that really caught my eye, and I've no doubt will catch your eyes too, is called Lost in Random. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my goodness me, they've hired Tim Burton to make a Mario 3D style game. And no doubt, if you're a fan of the Little Nightmares series, I think you're going to absolutely love this as well. It's got lashings of dark and nightmarish humour and characters that just make you want to hide under the bed covers. So as usual, we've got some trailers to go through. I'm going to try and dig up as much as I can and give you as much pre-information, and we'll go from there. So the release date for this is the 10th of September 2021. It is being published by EA. They also did It Takes Two, which is absolutely amazing if you have not played it either. And the developers looks like it is a joint effort between Zoink and Thunderful. Now, you probably don't recognize Zoink. They did a couple of titles. There's Stick It to the Man and there's also Ghost Giants. But you probably do recognize Thunderful because they are the creators behind SteamWorld Quest Hand of Gilgamesh. So not the biggest studios, but they look like they have created something quite phenomenal. Anyway, we can't talk about a story-driven game without at least talking about some of the story. It is a dark fairy tale fantasy-esque world. As I say, it was already mentioned Tim Burton, but it's got those beautiful feels of Nightmare Before Christmas. Or another beloved favourite of mine is The Corpse Bride. Anyway, you can't have a good old dark fairy tale without some sort of wicked queen, and she is the main big bad in this tale. So basically, you're in this kingdom of randoms, and it's made up of 6 shadowy realms, and you play the role of one of 2 sisters, so there's even and odd. And what happens is when you get to a certain age, you have to throw the dice to determine what happens to you in the future. And this is exactly what happens. So your sister Odd, she has to roll the dice, she rolls a 6, and it means that she then has to go live with the queen. And this is where you come in as Even, because you go on a mission to rescue your sister from the evil clutches of the queen. And what adventure game will be without some sort of sidekick? And this is where Dicey comes in. And I absolutely fell in love with Dicey as soon as I see him. He kind of reminded me of like a darker version of Claptrap, as he's basically this cute little living dice, I guess you could describe it, with arms and legs. And from here you go on all sorts of crazy adventures and you meet all sorts of weird and interesting characters, and they are just absolutely beautiful in their own twisted and wonderful way. Now, in terms of gameplay, I had to watch the trailer a fair few times to get a gist of what was actually going on, but I think I've managed to summarize it. Now, the game is in third person, and as you fight around, you have Dicey who supports and aids you. In terms of her base mechanics and attacking, I found that she has 3 weapons. That's not to say that's all of them, but these are all the ones that I found so far. So there's the slingshot, which can be used to fire from a range. There's also a one-handed rapier kind of sword, and also a 2-handed mallet-like attack. And you can see her doing like a big AoE spin ability with it. Now, what makes the game really interesting is there is also a deck mechanic that supports you. And how this works is that when you hit an enemy, they will drop these cubes of energy, which Dicey then eats. And as he eats these cubes of energy, the sides on his dice begin to fill up. And it's this energy that allows you to use the cards. And so far, I've seen that the card costs range from 0 all the way up to 3. But that's not to say that, you know, there aren't more expensive cards out there. So you can have a whole variety of cards. From what I've seen so far, there are 39 cards in the game, and you can have a deck of 10 cards at any given time. So you know me, I love to go through and pull everything apart. These are the cards that I have found so far, just to give you a taste of how the gameplay goes. So the cards come in 4 categories from what I found so far. So there's a red little flame, which is for damage. There is a green little shield, which is for defense. There's the blue square, which is for cheat. And then there's a purple circle, which is hazard. So these are the cards that I found so far. So there's Blink Attack, which is a damage card. So it's when Even Blink dodges through her adversaries, they take damage. The effect of this card runs out in 30 seconds. So not only does this give you an idea of, you know, what you can do with these cards, but also it highlights that there is a blink ability as well, which I guess is your primary dodge ability. Next up, we have a defense card. This is Super Elixir. So this is a generous life elixir that restores a medium amount of Even's health. It tastes like blueberries. The next one is Uma's Embrace. So this is another defense card. This is the Witch of the Valley shrouds Even in a protective bubble. fully shielding her from one damaging hit. And then we have another damage card, so this kind of highlights how you can use Dicey in the combat situation. So this is called Explosive Dice, and it's Dicey's emotions run high and he'll explode in 9 seconds. Don't worry, unlike Even, Dicey will survive the explosion. And if you're wondering, like me, what the cheat cards were, so I found one which was called High Roller, and this is summon a dice platform that guarantees a high number when throwing Dicey from it. The platform takes a moment to charge upon its cheating magic. So my original belief was that you just filled up Dicey's meter and you got 6 energy and then you got to use it on like 2-3 cards, for example. I now believe it is you fill up Dicey's energy, you then roll him, and then that gives you the energy number that you have to spend on your cards. Again, this is all speculation, but it's just from what I've seen of the trailer and the gameplay so far. Anyway, last one is a hazard card. This one is called Bomb, and it's a bomb, shoot it to activate it. Come to think of it, it's more like some kind of mine. So I'm guessing that hazard cards are more AoE explosive, for example, and the damaging ones are more, for your weapon abilities, etc., or more kind of like directional attacks. So another attack one is Bow of One. This one is the Spirit of Wondroth Dicer Wielder, manifests in the shape of a bow and gives you 10 arrows. And this is the only card that I found that is 4 energy. And I also found a cheat card which is a 0 energy one, and that is Stop Time. So it's cool that these abilities, they can affect the enemies, they can also manifest as weapon, and I imagine can really create some different playstyles which will make this game like a lot of fun. Another hazard one I found was D8 of Hate. So this is Even summons a threatening D8 that when hit explodes and hurts any nearby enemy for 2 energy. Again, and highlighting again that it is like explosive damage. Another interesting one I found, which was a damage card, was called Critical 20. And this summons a demonic 20-sided dice that damages any being in its path. It exists for 20 seconds, and it bounces off anything it hits. And the time card that I was mentioning earlier, this is called Time Trap. So it summons a clock that for a duration of 10 seconds keeps a pocket of the frozen dice mention in the arena, slowing any adversaries caught in it. And I absolutely love this whole deck building system. I'm a big fan of deck building games. They allow you to do multiple runs and recreate the experience in different ways. And with there being a whole load of different cards, with 40 that we found so far, it sounds like you can really create a whole mix of different experiences. Now, it is my understanding that this isn't an open world game. However, I have read that you can pick up quests to help remove various curses, which maybe implies that, the maps will be open. There are 6 in total, each one representing a different side of the dice. So I guess you can go off to side areas and do various quests to, maybe get extra cards or money you can use to buy extra cards. And that's it pretty much for this breakdown. I absolutely love the look of this game, which I know is probably a dangerous thing to do, but it looks loads of fun. And I just love the whole thematics that it creates, even down to the very novel and unique enemies. Anyway, I'd love to hear what you think of this game. I'm sure a lot of you have many opinions, but for now, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll be back with more news soon.